Wade is guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back for Winning on Wednesday. You know what time it is. It's 9 a.m. We are live from Austin, Texas. What is going on? It's good to see y'all.
Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having an amazing start to their week. Real quick, if you guys could, it's in the description, but make sure and let StreamYard view your comments. You just click that StreamYard.com/Facebook. And we would definitely want to be able to put you up on the screen, get your name up on the show. Would love to have you, and hope everybody's having an amazing week, man. I know I am. I got 2 wins, and my first one, we talked last night about it. I had softball last night, and I played pretty damn good. I'm getting better as the weeks progress. Had some good hits, some good plays on first, even though apparently it's not that difficult to be good at first base, which I know that, but still it was. I made some good plays, and then we're going back to Vegas. So I was just in Vegas not even 2 weeks ago, and then now going back. Shout out to Justin Brock. So we're going to Medicare Con, and so that was kind of last minute for me, and I'm super excited to get back out there, run the syndicate booth, get to network with a bunch of people, see some people I haven't hung out with in a bit. So I'm excited to get back out there, and I know sure that's probably got to be pretty big for you too, Tony, since I know you're emceeing the whole thing. So
yeah, I'm super pumped about it, man. It's going to be a blast. This will be, as far as MC working, it'll be the biggest stage I've been on. We're going to have about 850 agents, MGM Grand in Las Vegas. I mean, so yeah, that's easily my weekly win, is getting prepared for that. I've got all my ducks in a row. I got my presentation. I got a few jokes. I'm ready. Let's do it.
I always say that the worst or the hardest one I've ever done was 8% virtual, because I had jokes, but everybody was muted because it was like the virtual Zoom or whatever. Right. I'm like, dude, I just butchered these jokes. I'm like, I don't know if people thought that was funny or not. Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be good, man. I'm excited. A little risque for me to go back out to Vegas again. That'd be good.
You'll be chaperoned this time, so it'll be all right.
I'm chaperoned, so yeah, we're good to go, man. Well, y'all, we've got an awesome guest, and real quick, hey, this is what I'm talking about for a Facebook user. I'm not sure who you are. If you can, let StreamYard view your comments. It's in the description above. Just want to be able to get your name up there, but thank you for commenting, for hopping on this morning. But without further ado, guys, we've got a pretty awesome guest here. Been able to really connect with Nick in the past year, I'd say, and then a little bit more closely, I'd say, in the last 6 to 8 months of just kind of getting together, networking. We run two different shops, but also kind of are running in that same direction, in that same path. So without further ado, y'all, let's give a nice warm welcome to my good buddy, Mr. Nick Acosta. What's up, brother?
Hello. How are we doing?
Fantastic, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm just living the dream, baby. That's all I do.
Are you wearing a gi?
No, it's my
pullover. It looks like a gi. I was like, what the hell is he wearing?
No, it's my quarter zip. I'm trying to be somewhat cool over here.
We were actually going to get a
quarter zip. That'd be pretty cool. I actually am trying to get a racing penny when I do another couple more road races this year. I'll get a personal sponsored Acosta agency running penny. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, dude, awesome, man. Well, hey, just real quick, let them know who's Nick. Just give us a little bit about yourself, and then what's a weekly win for you.
Hey everyone. So I'm Nick Acosta. I own an agency with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Michigan. We are slight cross between captive and independent with our business model, and I've been an insurance agent now. I just surpassed 2 years. I contracted back in March of 2021. A little bit about me, overview. I'm from Indiana, like Joe is. I'm from the north part. I'm from South Bend. Went to Purdue University. Don't talk about basketball to me right now. Moved here to Michigan in 2014. I was in 6 years of manufacturing, both automotive and then aerospace, and then a little thing called a COVID layoff hit our industry. I was one of them. And then for like 7 months after that, I was kind of just screwing around, doing something with my money and my time I had, and then realized I need to have a job again, really should have a career. And without really wanting to go back to manufacturing, it's all I knew. I want to kind of take a leap of faith in something different. Insurance fell into my lap. They had a pretty good offer. And I was like, all right, I'll take that bet on me any day to see what I can make happen. And 2 years later, I'm still here. So I think I'm doing all right.
2 years later, and you're about to potentially hire 5 freaking people too, man, which is freaking.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there, guys, because Nick's got some really cool stuff that he's been working on recently, and even, I mean, just what you've done in the past year, man. You know, where you're hitting your goals, right? You're surpassing your goals. And I remember even when you were talking about your life goal, which I guess that was towards the end of 2022. You're like, oh shit, man, I've got all these apps I got, and then like you ended up doing it early.
Got it.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's real quick? What's a weekly win for you?
This week was getting to talk to like 5 or 6 really awesome people that I was interviewing to be sales in my agency. I was able to get 100 applicants in like 5 days and had to shut off my ads because I was just getting overwhelmed. But I'm excited to make some offers right now. So that's very promising to help get things going up for May.
Love it.
100 applicants in 5 days. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
We'll have to talk about where you're running those ads.
That's what I'm like, you're gonna have to tell me. This one's definitely being recorded, guys. Because we're gonna have to watch this one back. And before we get there, so I didn't know you were in manufacturing. Specifically the aerospace. Does that just come from college? Where did that come from?
So in college, I was in the College of Technology. When I went to Purdue, I had a background in organizational leadership and supervision, which was my minor, and then my certificate was entrepreneurship and innovation. So I always had like an entrepreneur background and wanted something like that. Just didn't know when or how or where it'd be. So I got a job offer, my only job offer enough to move up to Michigan. I was happy just to get out of Indiana, experience something new. I had never been to Grand Rapids before. So I was in automotive for 4 years, second shift and third shift. 3 years of that was being supervisor. So I ran teams of up to 40 people. Just on manufacturing lines, building mirrors for vehicles. And then just needed to pivot with my personal life. Third shift was really starting to affect me. I liked it more than second, but third shift was really starting to hit my personal life hard. So I had to make a pivot, do something different. So then I worked for General Electric, GE, for just over 2 years on first shift, was making more money, was closer to home, worked with a smaller team. And that was also a union too. So I have experience with union and non-union. And then to not go into super long story, before COVID hit, I was going to quit anyways because I was going to open up a fitness franchise. I wanted to experience my entrepreneurship and take a risk. I met with corporate in North Carolina. They accepted me. I gave them a small deposit. On February 25th of 2020, I applied for a loan to get my business loan. I think we all know what happened 2 weeks later. And then gyms were not treated very well in Michigan or nationwide in general. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to give you a $250,000 loan to open a gym when everyone's closing. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. Then I lost my job. They laid off 400 people in our plant. And I had to pivot, do something different. So I hustled for like 7 months. I was a ship shopper. They were paying really well back then. So I was just trying to bring in a paycheck. I have some rental income that kept me a little bit afloat. And then to this day, I'm still a part-time boxing trainer. So I was just kind of hustling, just trying to stay alive, get some money coming in. And then January of 2021, met with Farm Bureau, had a lot of talks with my mom at the time. And then my uncle, who his business partner was a goosehead agent in Ohio. And just not knowing much different, just pulled the trigger and said, all right, we're going to do it. I knocked out all my exams in 3 weeks and contracted that March.
Let's go, man. I love that, dude. And you use my favorite word. You know that is pivot, baby. It's not about taking a step back, right? And sometimes maybe you do need to take a step back, but it's really that's you taking a step back and looking, okay, how am I going to pivot, right? And I love that you said that.
If that's your favorite word, I would say that's my second favorite word. My favorite word is adapt. You have to adapt in any industry you're in. It's number one, dude. One of my favorite movies is Moneyball with Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah.
Great movie.
If you want to learn how to adapt, watch that movie because it's also based on a real story. But adapt or die is one of my favorite lines from that movie, and you have to adapt or you'll die.
That's good, man. That's good.
What?
And so, go ahead, Tony.
I was just kind of curious, what kind of projects were you working on at General Electric?
So we were the avionics side. The local plant in Muskegon, Michigan was engines. We were avionics. So we worked on black boxes. Funny enough, I guess to say funny, but coincidentally, when Kobe Bryant passed away in that helicopter, they were able to retrieve the black box in the helicopter that had all the data, all the information of basically what happens should that plane or jet or helicopter go down, and they're to be made indestructible. So we worked on a lot of black boxes, communication for microphones. Those would go into, Airbus 747. The U.S. government was a big contractor with us. That was our project we worked on. I ran a team that was in charge of all that.
Interesting. Right on.
Good. That's good.
So
I wanted
it's
to
a big difference between an insurance, right? Doing that and then now insurance.
So different.
Right?
So different. Yeah.
Well, this is where I want to start because I think, Nick, and honestly, you've gotten shit for it in the group before. And, and I think it goes both ways. And I come from captive, right? So obviously now I'm an independent broker, and every captive person I've ever talked to that, even if they're an independent now, they've always said I've done nothing but have a appreciation for my captive upbringing and everything that I kind of learned in that, right? And so I kind of want to stay here to start because we do have a nice, healthy mix of captive agents within this group. And really it's kind of half and half with independent and captive. And so what I want to talk about is how you're able to really, we'll say adapt or pivot right in this industry, right? Especially you've been in 2 years. So insurance, like the past 2 years have been crazy with storms and with claims and with, especially if you're writing in multiple states, which I know you are. Just all kinds of things changing within the industry. And for you to, again, be able to not only hit goals, but surpass them within a captive model, I want to talk about what are like 2 or 3 things that you think are kind of, the keys to your success within the captive model. Why is the captive model like good, right? Like why has it worked so well for you, right? Why I'm like, hey, I have zero intention of going independent and I've been at this for 2 years. Like I'm doing this thing with Farm Bureau. Let's kind of stay there and just break down some of that, and then we'll bounce off each other because I know it'll bring a lot of value to any of our other captive listeners for sure.
Yeah, great question. So I'm probably gonna be biased because this is all I know. I've not been part of the independent world, but we do have a broker we work with that gets me that independent experience, which is why I talk to you a lot about trucking, because I want to touch that stuff too. Because Farm Bureau does not do trucking, but we have a broker we can work where I can constantly write trucking if I really wanted to, or really go that route. So really with me when it came to was just, I always say I'm ignorant to what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And so that's why I probably brought some Farm Bureau people into Syndicate too, because I want to learn not only from the best from Farm Bureau, but just what are other captive insurance agencies or independent agencies doing across the country, right? So I'm not all about reinventing the wheel, but just for the manufacturing brain I have is what is continuous improvement, because you have to adapt or die. Because I was run to a roadblock where some of the veteran agents I talked to that were in 30 years, they would drive around their neighborhoods and door knock and do stuff like that. And it's like, not really a thing in 2023, man. And it's like, yeah, people come to us now. And I was like, dude, I don't have 30 years experience doing this. So what are people doing today in today's world that's being successful? And I wanted to hit growth fast, even though the pitch was get rich slowly grow your book, and then you'll own it within 5 years and you'll get all that stuff. But I was like, I'm going to get this bonus pay for 5 years. I want to ramp up now and really make a mark with who's this new guy coming in, kind of stealing the show, right? So there are a couple agents that are around my age, I'm 31, that have a little more experience than me, but that's what they're doing. I'm just mimicking their model, which also is a lot of other captive agents, like with farmers who I'm connected with, a few close ones, just mimic that model too, and just bring something new to the table. And overall, regardless of building an agency, whether you're captive or independent, or your Medicare or health or P&C commercial, whatever it is, I use 3 words that I compare it to marathon running, because I want to break the 3-hour barrier. I've already ran Boston, but I want to break the 3-hour barrier. How do you get there? The same way you're building an agency is effort, consistency, and time. So Going up and just putting in the effort, make the calls, make the appointments, do some effort, right? Be consistent with it. Do it every day. And then over time, that's where it builds and builds and builds. And that's where we can always tweak. Hey, we're putting in the effort, but just things are not sticking. Okay, we can work with that because is it your presentation? Is it your sales? Is it how you're asking? Who are the clientele you're going after? But if you're not putting in any kind of effort, dude, I can't help you or can't give you any guidance. And nobody can give me guidance because I'm not doing anything in the first place, right? So it's effort, consistency, and time, regardless of the industry you're in, regardless of, in my opinion, what type of insurance you're in. Those three things that you do with your professional or personal life, it's hard to fail, in my opinion, when you just do those three things.
Right.
I would agree.
Right.
Sounds like he's been talking to John Wetmore.
I'm like,
pretty much the same thing.
And that's because you just did that video with Nate yesterday too, Tony.
Yeah.
And it's like so many people come in, and Wetmore literally talks about this all the time. He goes, here is what I did. I have over 2,000 writing agents a month. Here is exactly what I did. And then people take that and they're like, I'm going to do something completely different. Right. And it's like, why? Like, why? I love that you said, I'm going to go mimic. Right. But then you bring it home and then you put your little Acosta touch on it. Right. And that's actually, dude, that's probably one of my favorite things about you. Obviously we've done some training offline together, and like, it kills me when I spend like hours with people, and like trying to help them, whether it's social media stuff or just even business overview, whatever it might be. And then they just don't do anything with it. Like, you're like one of my favorite people, because it's like, hey, when I like this and this on your social media, and then you go and do it, and then but you're consistent with it, right? Yep. That's a lot of the things that we do that is driving business or recruits or whatever into our organizations, right? It's that consistency piece that will always freaking win, man.
Yep.
And so I love that.
And you've given me praise before, because remember you would randomly DM me like, you're seeing my social media game step up, because I just took what you said to do and I did it. Because also in the sense like, well, this guy spent his time. He has no reason to spend this time with me. And we'd had that little one-on-one. I want to respect his time and just do what he said to do. Just Nike, just do it. And a little bit of trust in the process. And it's helped. And our managing partners would actually take screenshots of my Facebook posts and send to all the new agents like, look what Nick just got.
Posts like this.
with life. I had 2 people comment on for life insurance because I just make posts about it. I did one on Friday. I got a guy. I got him for like $50 a month for $500,000 for what he wanted. And somebody I had not talked to in 10 years slid in my DMs on Saturday, said, hey, my husband and I would like to do $1 million on a 30-year term. Can we talk? We're going to talk today at 7:00. And I'm like, yeah. I have not talked to her. Her name's Allie. I have not talked to her in 10 years because my last message to her was in 2013.
Wow.
And out of nowhere.
Wild. Yep.
Wild. So it just trust the process and do it. But I also wanted to respect your time and say, okay, this guy took his time to teach me something. I can replicate that. Sure. And just do it. Replicate it.
Right. Execution is the hardest for.
There's the general stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think execution is the toughest thing for most agents or most people, right? We can get the information and that's great, but execute on it. Right.
You're right. So, and I've learned everything when it comes to, I try to put all to marathon running. My first marathon was 2017. I just broke 4 hours, like barely broke 4 hours, like 3:56. I did Boston in 3:25, which was last April, a year ago. This marathon Saturday, I'm looking to break 3:15. So I'm just keep putting in effort. I'm tweaking my training. I'm getting better at my form. I'm just being consistent. And over time, I'm getting faster and faster. I surprised myself. I'm like, man, I used to be tired by this time. Now I'm feeling pretty damn good still. So the effort I'm putting in, I'm tweaking over time, getting better. Put the effort in with how you do calls or make appointments. And there's agents with Farm Bureau to this day have never spent $1 on marketing, never spent $1 on marketing.
Wow.
And they don't know what they don't know. They're like, why would you buy leads or something? Because why would you not get it for free? Which I hate that thing, because it's going to cost time or money.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is free. Whichever you value more. If your bank account's running low, you're spending time, right? Or if you want to not work 70 hours a week, you're going to throw money at it. Because I'm ready to hire some salespeople, and I'd rather spend the money to get stuff ramped up to get going too. So it's just that effort we constantly put in every day.
Yep.
So let's stay with the resources. What are there? Because I know obviously you're rocking Quotely. I've seen your stuff out there with Frank. Shout out Frank. They are a preferred vendor here of the group of guys. Quotely, they're live transfers. I don't know if they do live stuff, but I know they're live transfers on the property and casualty side, really, and they do data stuff. They do it all, so definitely check them out on that preferred vendor list. But what are the resources? Maybe give us 2 or 3. We'll call them resources. One of those could be, hey, I'm buying lead. That's a resource, right? And so, what are 2 or 3 things resource-wise that have been pivotal to your success in your agency. And again, in a short period of time, like the shit that you figured out, even in your first year. I mean, dude, I've been in almost, it's crazy. End of next month, I'm pretty sure is like, I'm coming up on 10 years, which I'm like, dude, it took me so many years to figure out some of this stuff but again, in that time, because you've gone out and you've mimicked, but what are those resources that you have within your agency that's allowing you to hit goals, to hit numbers, to obviously sell premium?
Yeah. So Quotely is a big one. Especially for life insurance too, because I do my Facebook life insurance ads, which are great. But then our CRM, because Farm Bureau had a dinosaur of a CRM, but they are finally moving towards Salesforce. That will become the company CRM. But at the time right now, still, I'm using Agency Zoom. That's been great. It's been a lot for my automation, for my onboarding emails, renewal emails, all that stuff too. So that's been great. You know, templates to put in for text so I can save myself time. That's been great. And then, so Quotely, Agency Zoom. I will be buying leads here again soon. I did some back in the day, but I put a pause in them just to do something different. But another one, I don't think I've said it a lot, but it's really, I think low key, is Recamp, recamp.com. That one is more meant for, it's more meant for how to gain referrals, like loan officers and realtors, and help to build value and just have an excuse. Because in Grand Rapids, it's a large city of 200,000, greater areas, 1 million people. Every insurance agent is talking to every loan officer right now to take them out to lunch. Right. And it's maybe if you're in a smaller part of your state, that's not very common. Here it happens all the time. So I have to stand out with something of value, and that's my in with Recamp. But also I use it for my own excuse because I had to force myself to ask for referrals. I sucked at asking for referrals. I'm getting better. I'm not great at it. I'm trying to get better at it. But also it gave me an excuse because all it is, just remembered it, all it is a card that gets sent to the home that you have automatically mailed. Like there's a Thanksgiving one. And then my name would be signed in there with my business card. I get an email saying, hey, Joe Camper got your Thanksgiving card. Great. I'm going to give myself an excuse to call Joe. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Did you get my card in the mail? Oh, yeah, I did. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey,
I just got it this morning.
Yeah, there you go. Just got it this morning or yesterday. And I give myself an excuse to, hey, I was thinking about you, Joe. And I properly ask for a referral. That was better to me instead of just calling you out of nowhere to ask for a referral. I like that because it gives me an excuse. Sometimes I'll just forget too. It's like there's another one we just did for April Fools, calling them up to get referrals too. So those three things, unless you want another one, Quotely, just to get inbound calls to help me, have somebody who's looking for it too, to help out with the phone fatigue. Agency Zoom for my CRM to get everything put in one section and automate a lot of my stuff. And then Recamp, $2 a card. So cheap. Absolutely worth it. I love it. All my households are on that. And then the loan officers I work with are on that too. And that helps with sticky business too. Yes, Facebook user, Recamp, you spelled it just right. Yep. So, cool. And sticky business too, because we all know we're in it for the renewals. So my thing is like with, how many times I've been mistaken for farmers? Like, no, like I'm Farm Bureau, different company, or State Farm, right? And then I was just telling the joke, there's an Indiana Farmers back in Indiana Farmers Coliseum, a lot of it, right? If they know Nick and they have my number, that's good. They know who I am. I don't care if they think we're with farmers or they know Nick's name. They know his number. Here you go. Give him a call. That's what I care about the most, because then they will know who I am if they ever need to have an issue with anything. So,
that's the most important part with branding. Brand yourself, not the company, y'all. Because really the company, they're not choosing to do business with Farm Bureau or farmers or blah, 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 right? They don't even know probably. That's the thing. Right. They're like, I'm trying to do business with Nick. That's good, man. So then where is all, so we slowed down the leads. Obviously you're killing it. You're still writing a bunch of business. Where's that coming from? All organic now? What, like grassroots marketing type stuff? Yeah.
It's been Facebook. Yep. And asking for those referrals. So I post my wins. You'll see them. Hey, I saved somebody. I call out the company purposely to make people think, oh, I got Allstate. I should call them. Or I got auto owners. Maybe I should call Nick, right? Purposely say the company's name. What I say, then I usually do save them money too, right? But I always talk about like, hey, I got somebody better coverage, right? Because there was one I got from Detroit. He was paying, and Detroit is feast or famine over there for premium. Right. But the guy didn't have an umbrella, and he owned 7 properties. He didn't know what an umbrella was. So I talked about that win, and I was like, hey, we got this guy an extra $1 million of coverage because something happens, he can kiss all of his properties goodbye. So talk about those wins, talk about the life insurance you write. And I encourage other agents to do that too. And that it was cool that the other agents that are new with Farm Bureau, they're doing that. So we're friends on Facebook. I add them and they talk about their wins and it's great. And I tell people, don't worry about mixing personal with work because I have now 2,700 friends. You don't got to be annoying with insurance, but just talk about your wins. People won't know what you do unless you talk about it.
Yep.
I'm not trying to make this a secret. I want everybody to know that this is what I do. And this is what I do every day. And so like I use it for like, instead of mailers, which is very old school. Some people still do them today and they're crushing it too. I'd rather not spend money on mailers. I'll spend my time on Facebook instead with my 2,700 friends to say, hey, Nick, I know we talked about this like 6 months ago, but my rates skyrocket with Liberty Mutual. Can you have a look? When they think of insurance, I want them to think of me.
Yep.
That's the whole purpose of it.
Love it. Gosh, dude. This is like we got a little Joe freaking 2.0 over here, Tony. This guy's going to take over. He's going to become the organic social media king, dude, because it's literally everything that I would do. It's funny you say, don't worry about mixing the personal. If you're worried about it, then, hey, guess what? Let's see if you can say it. If they're worried about it, then they're not using it as a business tool, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I've said what you said before, too. I use Facebook as a second CRM. I know you said that before, too. And it's just, guys, just talk about it. Like you see, I talk about, basketball, Cowboys football. I talked about, the NCAA game. I talk about other stuff, too, because I want people to know also who I am as a person and just kind of fill their feed with things that are like, not about insurance, right?
Sure.
But even then, when I share like a basketball post or whatever like that, if I'm at the top of their feed, they see my name, if they associate with that insurance, they're thinking of me. When the time comes, they will reach out to me. And that's ultimately what I want.
I love it. I love it. And so let's we're here, we're 2 years in. Okay. And we're going to pivot here to kind of a little bit of recruiting. Maybe I guess recruiting, interviewing, hiring, whatever the hell you want to call it. Mm-hmm. What was it? And really there's a lot of people in here I know. And honestly, we have agents within Redwood that are like this too, that I think kind of getting to the point of, hey, let's start bringing some people on. What was it for you, right? Because, hey, you come on year one, maybe say you've got some capital, right? Or whatever that was when you first started. Why now versus maybe last year or when you first started? Why 2 years that, hey, you know what, now is the time? And then kind of talk about, guys, he just got 100 freaking applications in 5 days. He's about to hire 5 people at once, which, knock on wood, we're rooting for you, dude. Get it?
Yep.
Talk about what was it that was like, all right, it's time. And then, okay, now that it's time, what did you do? Talk about maybe some of the systems, what you put out there to get the 100 apps, whatever that might look like.
Yep. So it's a different training program that I think you may have know about. So I'm going to give this guy a shout out. Insurance Sales Lab, Vlad Churchenko, farmer's agent, now a farmer's agent down in Texas. First, I bought his program way back in December of 2021 because I needed help with sales. Prospecting was fine, but like, how do I do sales, man? I got to do that. That was what I found. Somebody referred him to me. Been great. Then so I tried to hire somebody last year, but it was, it was just an applicant that came to me and I spent a lot of money with this recruiting agency that did not work out in my favor. And this person, very sweet gal, not really cutting out, wasn't a closer, wasn't a salesperson. I was paying her commission only. So there was virtually no risk. But because of that, I didn't invest in a lot of time into her like I probably should have. So I learned from that. And then in February, Vlad personally calls me and says, hey, we're doing this workshop in Dallas. You talk about it all the time on their Facebook page that I'm looking to hire people. I want to invite you down and learn everything. And I just said, all right, screw it. Here's my card. We're going to do it. So I bought a flight out of nowhere, went down to Dallas, took over everything. Again, blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
I copied what Joe told me to do. I copied what Vlad told me to do. So I learned all that in Dallas. I came back up here, and I get to the resource in a second. But basically, he told me what to do, and I did it, and it worked. So simply put, I copy and pasted what it was.
Right.
It's amazing how that works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's the show. Just go seek out the people that are really good, and just guess what? Just copy and paste.
Copy and paste. Yep.
So what is it? What did he really show you? What are the kind of the tools that you did? Because obviously, I mean, you need a system, you need something obviously to field those 100 applications, right? And then maybe talk about this. Okay, cool. I like this where this is going. You got 100 people, right? And I bet you probably have more than you probably have more than like we'll say 5 rock stars. We'll call them rock stars.
Yep.
Maybe eligible candidates. What are the things that you were looking for? That hey, out of the 100, these are the reason I got these 5. But kind of talk maybe about the systems and the applications first, and then kind of how you filtered through them.
Yep. So the application we use is something that I did not hear about before. It's called idealtraits.com. You guys heard of it?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's what we used. And I've used other stuff before. Like Farm Bureau just actually got a thing with Career Plug. I was about to use that, but then I didn't spend any money. Let me wait and hear from this instead. And I just bought Ideal Traits instead because that's what I'm learning from. That's what they're teaching. Okay, don't try to do something cute and different. Just follow the blueprint. So I bought Ideal Traits, and that whole thing is meant for insurance agencies because everyone has to fill out an assessment. I think there are like 12 categories, and I'm looking for 4. And I know the 3 of them off the top of my head are sales leader, closer, and persistent. Those were 3 traits I'm looking for when they fill out the assessment. That's how I filtered through everybody I wanted to actually have a phone interview with. So the posting is from Ideal Traits. And then I went to a bunch of different Facebook groups too. And just for free, because I'm going to sponsor on Indeed. At the time, it wasn't working. Something was going on in the background that was weird. So I started posting just in random Facebook groups that are like for hiring people. I got like 15 applications just from that alone. But then we were going to sponsor on Indeed. I was going to pay $500 a month, and I got 100 in. It's on there from sponsor Indeed 100. I stopped at day 4 or day 5. It's like, okay, too many. I need to save some money. So I really spent like $112. That's it to get all those applicants. So barely over $1 a lead. And the big kicker was, okay, to be competitive, I've got to offer a base plus commissions. Like this is not going to be commission only. No one's going to take that job unless it was like high ticket sales, right? So I put in the salary range of what it could potentially be. And then I just, again, it was all copy and pasted of what Vlad said that he's doing in Texas, in Dallas to do for his farmers agency. And I just copy and pasted it, changed a couple things that were more relevant to what I could do with Michigan, stuff like that.
Yep.
And then the biggest thing was, again, I was ignorant to this until I learned, but the number one search thing for a job right now is remote work, period. It is what it is. And also in my office right now, I just don't have space to hire people. All the other spaces are meant for other agents like myself. So I have nowhere to put them in the first place. So with a good paying salary, good commissions, guidance, all that stuff I put in the application, and the fact that I put that it's remote work, 100 applications. Got it. And a lot of them were in the general Grand Rapids area. A couple were from maybe an hour, 2 hours outside of Michigan, but pretty much everybody stayed was in the Grand Rapids area. That's how I got it.
That's good. Because then you're still somewhat local. So you want to, hey, team, we're getting together type of thing or something like that. You can still do that. Yep.
Yeah. And so I knew that the fact that, I've had my laptop in my house before, did quotes. It can happen. I like being in my office just because I like to keep home away from work. That's my thing. I don't have my own good setup in my own house. But if somebody else does, and they're currently working from home right now, or they are just wanting it so bad for like family, childcare, whatever it is, okay, fine. And where my confidence came in is that my background of being a supervisor, I think if I were to brag about anything, is that I was a good manager. I know how to take care of people, because in how I ran my business when I was in manufacturing was the employees come first, then the customers, then the company. And that's how I do it right now, that I will do it in my agency, is that my employees come first, then the customers will come, and then the Farm Bureau itself will come after that. So
you going after licensed people, or were you getting any unlicensed folk, or were you not filtering for that, or was it all?
Nope, that's fine, because also, to be realistic, not a lot of people are just licensed in the first place. I did talk to somebody who is a solicitor for farmers right now. She has to get the P&C license for us, but she's like personal lines only. But she does have insurance experience. Somebody else had insurance experience too, but a lot of them just have sales experience right now, or their assessment guided them to basically be that. They just didn't even know it, right? Because when I took the assessment, it gave me the sales leader one, and I'm biased because I have sales experience now, but it doesn't really ask about that. It's your personality. And I had to do another assessment when I came to Farm Bureau, but I guess I had a sales aspect to me. I didn't even know it. Right. So that's where that came from too. So the assessment helps a lot. From there, filtered through with people that I wanted to have a chance to talk to on the phone. From there, got to talk to people in person. And of the 7 I've talked to, 5 have been great. And I think I'm going to make the offer to those 5 people and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, you're about to make those offers today, aren't you? You said?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Dude, that's so, and I'll tell you, and I'm sure Tony can attest to some of this as well, from everything that he's seen on his side of things is that, and really, I mean, dude, I'll put my hand up now. I remember when we were first starting, dude, I was like the worst at hiring people, man. Like,
Yeah.
I would just say, I mean, basically, because when I came over from the Allstate world, I mean, I was just pitching. I'm like, dude, you can, if it can be insured, we can do it, man. Like, come over here, like anything, we can sell it, dude. We can do it. And I remember bringing people on, and just, part of me, I don't know if it was because I was still so in the trenches that, again, I didn't necessarily maybe have as much time as I needed to be spending with them, to be leading them, because like, dude, I have to sell too, because I need money. But I remember, man, that is like hiring for me was always one of the hardest things, specifically for an in-house person, right? Like, hey, on our aggregate, like, hey, you want to run your own business and shit like that. That's you, right? But as far as that producer side, I remember in the first year that Redwood was open, dude, I think I hired like 12 people. And then it was back to, in year 2, Hanky was the only person left. Everybody just came, filtered through, right? Cycled through, honestly took up a lot of time, right? And that's kind of the hard part. And anybody that's watching this, that can be a little bit scary. That's the scary part of when you're bringing people on, like, dude, I'm about to pour a lot of time and energy into this person. I hope they work out. Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's a limiting belief, though, in my opinion, that if you're starting right out the gate, that, man, I hope they work out, they can feel that from you too, right? So it's more of like, man, I know they're going to be my guy, employee first, right? So I'm going to pour a lot of time and energy into them and not worry about whether they're going to leave me in 6 months or not.
Good question that was just asked from Doug.
Yep.
Yes, because on my application, I say that I am offering a sign-on bonus, and that they have to earn it through the training. So I do the insurance sales lab training. It takes 2 days. And the deal is you go through this training in depth, and there's a script I give them. I print it all off. I give it to them in a little booklet. And the deal is, if you can verbatim read back to me the script by memory of the opening hook, building value, transition, asking for the sale, whatever, I give you a $500 bonus. So I incentivize them to go through this training in depth, memorize everything they possibly can, and verbatim read it back to me, $500 bonus. So yes, Doug, I am offering that too. I tell them that on the phone and in the interview as well.
Nice.
That's good. That's good.
Helpful.
Go ahead, Tony.
I was when we were talking about, I hope they work out, right? The key to that is systems and processes, right? If you have a great system that works, it's duplicatable, then the only lacking piece is their execution of it.
Yep. And I was listening to a podcast right before I came to my office today from my favorites, Alex Ramosi. I've been following him since pre-COVID, and he's blown up now. So I remember when he had like only 20,000 followers. Now he has 1 million on almost every platform. And he was asked, do you believe in yourself? And he said, I have replicated systems and processes that I know I can do later on. That was his answer to that question. But it made me think, okay, I have a process that I was trained on that if I just follow it and blueprint it, it's just math, basically, that works out. And if I do my due diligence of guiding my employees, supporting them, I call it sharpening the axe every morning. Wednesday, we have a training we do. If I just follow this blueprint, I have a little bit of faith that it's going to work out, right? And just make sure that they're successful as soon as possible, you can replicate it and get those early wins on that early confidence going, replicate it. Because yes, Tony, last year it was, I hope this person works out, and she didn't work out.
Right.
But if I'm going to put in this much time, effort, and money into 4 or 5 people, that there really is no hope it works out, because I will damn near be bankrupt then. Like, just also mentally bankrupt. Like, are you kidding me? This is how it's going to work. This is how it's successful. This is how we're going to make you as a solicitor be successful. And I'm going to guide you the entire way.
Yep. Right. Like, here's my process. Here's my system. All you have to do is plug in with consistent effort. And if you do that, you as the system creator, right, you can have faith because your system works. So then it's just identifying the person that I can plug in that'll give me the consistent effort, and have that same blind faith with me that over time the system works and will produce income for you.
And I'm transparent with them too. Like, I'm very transparent with how everything works. Like, I'm paying almost all of my commissions up front. I tell them I keep the renewal. I invest in the marketing. I'm investing time in you. So where it benefits me is you're helping me grow my agency. and I'm paying you to do that. But also, I'm not a gatekeeper. I said, if you want to be in my position one day, I'll help guide you to that. If you want to be an agency owner one day, or work for corporate, or do whatever you want, right?
Sure.
Because I told him, if anything, that's bragging rights on my part that my agency is churning brand new agents.
Absolutely.
That's like bragging rights on my part. That how many there's maybe less than 5 agents that kind of have those bragging rights, of maybe 1 or 2 people. If I can churn new agents out because they kicked ass in my agency and they would take that leap of faith and be a superstar instead of a rock star, hell yeah. I'll if I can be known for that. That's growth.
Let's go back, because I don't know if we covered it. So why 2023? I'm bringing on. I need 100 applications, and I'm bringing on 5 people. What was it that caused that? Like, hey, I'm just trying to grow, or was there something more to it, like time frame wise, maybe a part of your business plan?
A little bit of time frame. I had to kind of look in the mirror and ask myself, okay, what do I want this to look like? What do I want to do? And I want to be essentially owner operator, to where I just run the ship. I steer the ship in the direction we got to go. I hire people to do all the work, and I pay them well and I treat them well. Right. Yep. If I can give you no reason to ever leave, that's a win, because we're in it for the long run. Right. I don't want to go back to corporate. I don't want to go back to manufacturing. If I can make this my career and retire and sell my book to whoever I want, then I will do that. So I want to do this now while I also have these bonus commissions.
Right.
Because after 5 years, we're on a regular commission schedule. So the goal by 5 years, in the general sense of Farm Bureau, is to get to 1.5 million for that captive book. But with this process, with how I'm going to go, and I don't have I have maybe $250,000 of premium right now, just with how things have been going just in my 2-year career. If I can replicate this and continuously grow, I want to hit 5 million in 5 years, straight up. Because Absolutely. If I can train 4 salespeople to do at least 100,000 a month and just replicate it like SEAL Team 6 style, get like a bunch of these pods with a team lead on top of it. So, and it was time, because I value my time. There's things I want to do in my career and just my personal life that I want to be known for. And I did not want to be the main sales agent with like one CSR and just have everybody come through me. I'd rather build a large team that does something unprecedented that Farm Bureau is not used to or has seen before. And it was time. So what's
my line right now, Tony? You'll like this one, Nick, because it's like a marathon, right? Is that, hey, if you want to run fast, do it alone, but if you want to run far, do it with others, right?
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah. So and the time was now. I didn't want to wait any longer, because you just don't know what's going to happen in the industry with rate increases, which we're getting hit with another one. It was like, I got the time, I got a little bit of the money right now. It needs to happen. Yeah. The goals are going to be harder to hit. It's now or never is really what it came down to.
Good. You got to execute on that. You have to recognize those opportunities, right? Take advantage of them.
Yep.
And again, not to just throw out another platitude, but one of my favorites is that opportunities multiply as they are seized. So if you take advantage of those opportunities and you do capitalize on them, right, then you're putting yourself in a position for exactly what you want to happen. You're going to bring on 4 or 5 new agents. One of those, hopefully they all work out, certainly, right? One of those should rise up to be that sales leader. And then now you're duplicating yourself through that person. And then you can even duplicate even faster. So truthfully, you could easily get to 5 million in much shorter time than 5 years.
Oh yeah, especially with Michigan premium. Let me tell you,
when you get going with duplication,
right?
But a lot of things
just ride a bunch in Detroit.
Good. But also, I wanted to stay.
Yeah, true,
too, right? Yeah. But also, I'm thinking, okay, I'm wearing all these hats right now because I'm doing virtually everything. Okay, I need to pay people to do these other hats, right? And just over time, get them good at one and one thing only. And that's the rock star movement right there. I want to hire those rock stars to be really good at that. And then just eventually I'm steering the ship. Hey, we're going to focus on these personal lines. We'll focus on life, focus on commercial. We're big on farm, obviously Farm Bureau, shocking, right? But also to be a little bit selfish. I want to reap the benefits of being the owner. And if I think one of my best parts of my job from my previous career was that, I was salaried, right? $1 billion company. I ran a team, but we had team leaders for each line or each pod rather. I'm basically duplicating what I did in manufacturing just to do it in insurance, right?
Yeah.
There would be days where if I had to call off or I had PTO or something happened, I couldn't show up. The job got done at the end of the day. Parts got
Right.
built, people were taken care of, people showed up. And I want to replicate that to where if I could ignore for one day everything that just happened in the agency and it still existed the next day, then I built an automated machine, and I can replicate that for others too, or just enjoy my time and go do whatever I wanted in my personal life.
I can go train or run a marathon, and guess what? I can come back and the building is still there.
Yep.
You know,
People are still working. We're still writing business. We're churning. So if I can build an automated machine, which I do have experience with, it was already kind of there in the first place, but I know how to replicate it because I did it for 2.5 years on third. And third shift, man, you see every type of person ever work for third shift, right? So that's what ultimately I want to have. And if I'm going to be selfish with that, then sure, I can reap that benefit. And if they want to take this risk and the reward of being an agency owner, then yeah, we need for me to get you there, because the managing partners will love that. They want more agents too. So that's also part of it as well.
I mean, obviously you went to school, you went to Purdue, but have you always been a good student?
I would say so. I think really when I hit middle school is where it was more consistent. You know, I was motivated. So I was the first one in my family to go to college. Parents never did. I was an athlete. I still am an athlete. My biggest thing was just to, you know, make myself proud, my parents proud. But as you guys I know, Joe, you probably know, my parents are gone now. So I'm still trying to figure out in my personal life, you know, what is still driving me. Sure. Some days I kind of question that. Like, I don't know what is driving me right now. Maybe it's just passion. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out after, you know, my mom's been gone for 2 years. My dad's been gone for 5 years. So it's more so I was a good student. Yeah. But I was just more so, how do I be effective with my time? Because when you lose 2 parents, man, you don't get time back. I can always make more money, but I can't get time back, and I can't create time.
Right.
So my, you know, I was always a good student. Yeah. Wasn't the best, you know, Purdue's a great school, of course, but I wasn't salutatorian, valedictorian. I just hit over a 3.0 when I graduated from Purdue, cumulative GPA. But I was involved in a lot. You know, I was in a fraternity. I was in dance marathon. I was in college mentors for kids. You know, I did have a part-time job at Chipotle. So I was just involved in a lot and just grew as a person for more than anything. Right. That was being my more thing of where that college.
Well, I think, dude, it's got to be the passion, right? Because, you know, and what I hear, it's not your passion. It's not the, what's the best way to put this? Like a selfish passion. It's passion for others. You know, where it's like, for me, a lot of what I like, obviously not in your situation, right? But a lot of it's like, man, I am passionate to like find these other people and show them the light, you know, type of thing. And I can hear it in you. And it's funny because everything you've done outside of Purdue, right? It's everything you've talked about on this show today is literally, it's your passion, and maybe we'll call it compassion for others, right? Yeah. Employee first, dude. And hey, you best believe I'm not going to go out there and offer commission. I'm going to pay them basically the farm of the commission, and I'm going to give them a base, and I'm going to help train them up in this and this. You know, I can definitely hear the passion in your voice, but it's the passion for others. And I think that when you can exercise that consistently, right? Consistently, dude, that's what leaves a legacy, right? That 100, that's Redwood's, that 100 years from now, man, you know, people are going to be talking about great Grandpa Joe and great Grandpa David, you know, like, you guys remember when they started Redwood? Like,
yep. And I think that's the big thing we mentioned, leave a legacy too, also, because I cannot remember where I heard this from, but it struck me. This was maybe a decade ago. I heard this. There's a saying I saw on the internet where everyone dies twice. When your body, when your soul leaves, when your heart stops. And then the second time is when someone says your name for the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That hit me hard. I was like 21 or 22 when I heard that, but it still stuck me with this day, because how many people in our deep family in the 1700s from our lineage have we not mentioned their name? Right. My great grandfather, Augustus Skelton, was born 1898. There's going to be a time where his name will not be mentioned again for many of our lineage. Yeah. Right. So there's the people that we know that are like these, you know, maybe the billionaires or the entrepreneurs or like the authors. You know, Harper Lee wrote one book. Her name ain't going anywhere. Right. Right. It's just what kind of impact are you going to leave? And I don't need to be, you know, worldwide. I don't need to be Pitbull. I don't need to be Mr. Worldwide. Right. But how long can my name last? That would be ideal. So if I were to be, again, selfish passion is like, if I die tomorrow, how long will my name last? And I'm hoping it could be for eternity.
Right. Well, shoot, if you get as many shares as you did on that one homeowner's post on Facebook, I think you're going to be good. How many shares did you end up? Share that real quick, and then we'll wrap up. But share that post real quick because it was gold. Yeah.
So it's such a Michigan thing too, right? So we had a huge snowstorm blizzard here Christmas weekend. 5 days prior, it was like virtually no snow, grass. It just rained. So it looked like, and it was like 58 degrees or no, at 50, 52. 5 days later, snowstorm. Yeah. And I said, my tagline was, hey, what's it like living in Michigan? Me. And it was before and after. And I got like 6,000 shares.
Yeah. It was like, 8 a.m. and then 5 p.m. or something. Yeah. But how many shares did you end up getting?
I think 6,000.
Gosh. Hey guys, this is on his personal profile, right? So this is why you do it consistently. And this is like that engagement post. It's one of those jabs, right? Had nothing to do with insurance, but how much, I know that you probably got insurance off it. I remember we were messaging and then you were trying to go through and comment, but he was getting shared so much that Facebook shut him down from going to comment on the other people's posts because they're like, what's going on? And it's all not a dime spent, y'all. Just a catchy post on his personal profile that got shared 6,000 freaking times. What does that do for your brand, right? Especially if you're branding yourself, if you're doing it the right way. Nick Acosta just hit 6,000 different timelines that he has no connection or relationship with, but maybe now he does, right? Because they're like, man, this dude's, oh, he's in Grand Rapids? Like, oh shit, he's doing insurance too. Like, I'm telling you guys, it might sound one-off, but it's not, because when you play the numbers, which we're in a numbers game, 6,000 freaking timelines, dude, you're going to get at least one. Like, I promise you, it's impossible to not. And it's good, dude.
That's pretty cool.
Well, right on, man. This was awesome. Thank you for hopping on, dude. Appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to finally get you on the show and catch up with you. So,
So
what's
good,
next,
man?
Obviously you got 5 people that you're bringing on, but beyond that, 5 million in 5 years. What else you got cooking? What else do you have in the fire that you're kind of looking at the horizon with?
In regards to the agency?
In general.
Well, I guess I'll answer, in 2 ways. That is in the long look of it is just get to this growth of where it is, right? To where it is, and then just be one of the top agents if I can. Also, Farm Bureau really loves community involvement, which is also what I love about Farm Bureau too. So if I can time it right, I want to try it this year, if not next year, but make sure it's done right. Being a road racer, I always want to put on my own road race. So I want to put on my own 10K because Farm Bureau, with the Michigan Farm Bureau, we created the Agent Charitable Fund where we raise money to help out.
Get like grants and stuff.
For ending childhood hunger. That's our thing, right?
That's awesome.
So I thought, I don't know how to really spend money like that, but I know how to raise it because I've done Boston marathons, charity runner, and dance marathons too. And I was like, it'd be really cool to do a 10K. So something like that, I do on the horizon, get more involved with local high schools, just to, do athlete of the week. I love doing that stuff. I was one back in high school, bragging moment, right? Totally cool. Do athletes of the week, sponsor them, just get my name a lot more in the community. But we got to do it the marketing, the lead way right now, just to get some hits going here. But then eventually, be so well known that, and just be so good at referrals that, dude, we don't need to spend money on marketing anymore. Just because we are so busy with what everybody else is doing right now. Just they're coming to us because we're taking care of them, making it known. So that's ultimate goal. And then of course, I got one award sitting right there. I got the other one sitting here on my wall with All American, which we're going to Costa Rica, like right after my marathon, which I'm excited for. So looking forward to that, which I made a brag post on the syndicate because it was your guys' help and guidance and the tools that helped me get there at the last minute. I'll take it all day.
Hey, execution, baby. Execution.
Yeah. And then personally on the horizon, my goal also, just like everybody knows that I'm an insurance agent, I run marathons and I'm a boxing trainer, and then I'm a wrestling coach too. But I want to break the 3-hour barrier in the marathon. There are not many men or women in the world that can say that they've done that. I'm getting closer and closer each year, but also just that's my mental fortitude of just, I do that before I do anything in the office because I value that over anything, because that also makes me sharpen the axe to keep sharp with effort, consistency, and time. And I'll be a broken record about it. So that marathon training forces me to live by those 3 words.
Yep.
So that way I can translate and execute it into the agency too.
Yeah.
And
all that
then,
stuff bleeds over, right,
yeah,
into every facet of life.
Yep, exactly that. And if I can influence, and inspire others to do the same thing and adopt that kind of mindset, that's been really helpful to me, right? That would be great. And just, take care of people, grow the agency, make a lot of money, make others a lot of money too. And just be looked up upon like as a mentor if I can. I'm already mentoring one young agent right now, which is great. But just if I can help duplicate a blueprint, if I can make it successful, here it is if you want to do it that way. The beauty of it is that they don't have to do it that way. There are agents that are killing it right now that would not do a single thing I'm doing, and that's okay. They have a different way of doing it, and that is fine. And I envy them too. That's the beauty of this, is that we can do it however we want. As long as we're bringing in good premium, it's hard to fail.
Right.
What's the record on a marathon?
World marathon.
Yeah, world record, marathon record.
Not recognized by Guinness because it was too many factors to make it happen. But Eliud Kipchoge, who will be running the Boston Marathon on the 17th, he is the only known man to break the 2-hour barrier on the marathon. Shit. So go to your treadmill, put it up to level 13, and then run for 2 hours.
Oh my Lord, dude!
Just give you a heads up. Going 12 on a treadmill is a 5-minute mile, and he did 13 miles per hour. So the actual recognized record is, I think, 2:02. So
that's still incredibly fast. What's their reasoning for not recognizing it? What does he have, 3 legs or something? Or
So what it was is it was 2019. Eliud Kipchoge. It was a race to break the 2-hour barrier. So he was the only runner. Nobody else was allowed to run. He had a running group that would break off the wind to give him less friction. There was an electric pace car in front that had a green line that said, here's your pace for 2 hours. Road bikers would come up and give him specific amounts of water he would drink. So it was very controlled to get him to break the 2-hour barrier.
Right.
Like 30 seconds.
Versus a random here's a marathon, go get it.
Random marathon that others could participate in, right? So that's why it's not recognized officially as the world record. I think he has the world record still like 201 or 202. Sure. So he owns it, but it is known that, yes, Eliud Kipchoge is the only known person to break the 2-hour barrier on the marathon, which is
I looked up the average time for a marathon. 4.5 hours is the worldwide average marathon time.
And I hit 3:25 last year. I'm looking to break 3:15 Saturday.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, good luck, man. I'm sure you'll get it done eventually.
Statistically speaking, if I break 3 hours, I would be one of the fastest men in the world.
Come on. Statistically, baby. Hey, I love it, dude. Speaking. But you got to be consistent, y'all. And that's what it is. And seriously, again, Nick, I really appreciate you, man. This has been an awesome show. Y'all, you got to stay consistent. Right. And here's the biggest thing that I've heard in all this, right, is that when you do all the things that Nick is talking about, you guys realize that he only has talked about making money like one time. Everything else has been goals oriented. Everything else has been trying to grow. It's been not necessarily trying to grow money in my pockets, right? It's just, I'm just trying to grow this business. I'm trying to leave something. I'm trying to put people first. I'm trying to build a team. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to be more involved in my community. When you do all of those things, the money will come. I promise you that. So, dude, thank you again for hopping on, man. It was really good. And I did best of luck in that marathon, man. Hell, you beat 3:15, dude. You got it.
Yeah. I'll take care of it. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Anything else you need from me, let me know. But I'm happy to join the group again. So thanks again, guys.
Yeah, you got it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week.
Everybody have peak of the week, baby. Peak of the week. Oh, yeah, we're going to be live in Vegas next week. So y'all definitely want to tune in for that with me and Merwin. We'll be at the MGM live within the syndicate, baby. So, again, thanks, guys. Hope everybody has an amazing week. It's the peak of the week, right? Keep going and ultimately adapt or die, right? We appreciate y'all. Later.
See you guys.